Sir, we are live.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome. Proceeding before the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for the City of Palatka. By way of introduction, my name is Ron Brown. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Florida. State statute and city code, I've been appointed by the City Commission for the City of Palatka to preside over today's proceedings. These proceedings are governed by Chapter 162 Florida statutes, as well as the pertinent sections of the Palatka Code, which deal with code enforcement. This is not a formal court of law. We do not follow the formal rules of evidence. We do not follow the formal rules of civil procedures you might find in a court of law. Statutes and codes, however, do require that we follow the basic rules of fair play and due process to make sure everyone has an opportunity to be heard, and that we issue a decision that's based on substantial and competent evidence and it's a reasonable decision given the testimony and evidence that's presented. The only thing we'll be considering today are what we see and hear in this room today. That will be the basis for any decision that will be written. The city will be making a presentation concerning alleged violations of the code. They'll be citing the code provisions and they will show us the evidence in support of the violation. Those of you who are here as respondents will have an opportunity to come and to present any testimony and evidence that you may have with regard to those violations. At the conclusion of that, and any questions anyone may have, and feel free during your opportunity to speak. If you have any questions you would ask staff, with me, I'll be glad to answer those. They'll be glad to answer those. Keep in mind, I am not an attorney representing the city. I'm not an attorney representing you. I am a special magistrate. My job is to just make a decision in regard to whether there's a violation. And the only thing I can do is make a decision based on the evidence and the law. So, one of the requirements, however, of the proceeding, again under state law, is that all testimony must be sworn. So I'm going to ask everyone who will be testifying today and who is here today to please stand. We'll ask you to confirm you took the oath when you come up. Raise your right hand and take the following oath. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you should give today should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
I do. The record shows that all enforcement officials and all respondents in the audience will be participating in the affirmative. We take the cases in the order of the agenda, the exception being, as you may have noticed, those of you who are here prior to the beginning of the meeting, we will take those who come in person and give them priority on the basis of who got here first. So those of you who got here early will get a chance for us. We will. That being the case, the first case will be case number 2023-61, the property located at 512 Emmett Street. My records indicate the owner is Daniel Gornto.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're Mr. Gornto?
Yeah.
And you're standing behind us. And it's going to be important that when you come up that you speak into that mic. And the reason for that is that we're making a recording of this. That is the record for the hearing. In the case of any appeal, that will be the official record. Recording. So make sure you speak into that and you heard. The only other thing I can ask is, as a matter of courtesy, we're going to take things in the order of city making a presentation. The respondent will have a chance to make a presentation. Any questions that come up, just keep your order because we don't want to have any testimony and statements stepping on top of each other. It's important to keep that record. Yes, sir.
I'm Daniel Responta. He is going on speaker for me because
Who is he?
My name is Dennis Byrne. I'm a friend of neighborhood in the neighborhood.
All right. Just so you know, Mr. Gornto is the one who is responding here.
I understand.
All right. So you know. All right. So what's going to happen? The city's going to begin. This is two cases. This Ms.
Yes,
Flood's
sir.
case. Yes. All right. She's going to begin. The photographs that they're representing will be presented up here. There will be reference according to which section of the code the alleged violation occurs. It doesn't matter of preliminary information. It looks like the city has 5 violations, one of 30-32A of the code regarding prohibited conditions and public nuisances due to deteriorating building. Another section of section 30-32A for overgrown grass, trees, broken tree limbs on the property. The third violation, again from 30-32A, prohibited condition due to trash and debris. A fourth violation alleged prohibited conditions and public nuisances, roofing and disrepair. And the fifth violation alleged violation of section 30-171, windows due to broken windows. The references for each of these ordinances are included in the record on appeal. So Ms. Love?
Yes, sir. This violation was first observed March 22nd. We set it for a hearing and posted on May 1st. We did not receive any green cards back. We did the complex posting on May 6th and the site posting on May 1st. And this is,
Before we begin, let me make sure I got a couple things on due process.
yes, sir.
Mr. Warto, it looks like they sent notice to you. Hang on a minute. Look at the address at 512 Emmett Street, and that's the address of the property. Is that correct? Do you live at the property?
No, I live next door.
Okay, but that is the correct mailing address for this property?
Yes, sir.
All right. There are cities required by law to send the notice to the official address of record on the property appraiser and tax collector's roll. That is that record. And did you get a letter from the city with regard to this?
I got. Yes, on my fence post.
All right. It looks like the Postal Service returned the city certified letter as vacant, unable to forward. Just so you know that the official address for the property, the Postal Service thinks is vacant. And so that's why they posted the property, so that when the letter comes back unclaimed, they're going to go through the statutory requirement to post the property, both at the property and here at City Hall, which there's an affidavit in the record that shows that Ms. Lowe in fact did that. Just so you know. And any order that we get today is going to go to the 512 industry unless you have another address where you get your mail.
Usually the mailman takes it over, puts it in my mama's mailbox. That's where I get my mail at here. The last couple of years.
We'll go to the post office and make sure that we have the address forwarded to the address right next door.
Just so you know, the post office isn't necessary delivery certified mail over there. So just so you know, and somebody's got to actually find for it. Okay. So you make sure you got communication. But you are here. This is a good sign. All right, Ms. Lowe, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. This is a photo 1A that was taken on March 22nd, 2023. Shows where the building is deteriorating.
All right, and the allegation, this is a violation of 30-32A, building deteriorating. What about 30-32A is deteriorating?
The top part of the roof, the sides of the structure are all missing.
Now, if I may,
Okay, no. When you get, what about you? She gets a study, then you get a call. What about this what needs to be done to bring this into compliance according to the city?
Replace, repair, to remove, sir.
The roof?
The roof.
The roof's completely.
The roof's pretty gone, yes.
Right, next.
And that's a follow-up picture where there was no changes.
And this is another photograph as to the roof needing replacement?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
of the building deteriorating. This shows, this is picture 2A, shows where the windows are missing and broken windows. It was taken on March 22nd, 2023. And this is the follow-up of the same view, which still shows the windows broken or missing. It's taken on April 24th, 2023.
Is there any roof on this property?
no,
No, sir.
It burned down.
So the according to the city, the respondent would have to roof the property completely
Yes, sir.
and either board up or put windows in the.
That's right. This is the picture that shows the roofing in disrepair. It was taken on March 22nd, 2023. This is a follow-up picture. Same thing, roofing in disrepair. It was taken on April 24th, 2023. And this is a picture of the front yard where trash and debris are in the front yard visible from the roadway.
So the trash and debris is just man-made material?
So it's wood, there's some trash, a lot of miscellaneous pieces from the house laying around.
We're not talking about vegetation at this point?
No,
It's
sir.
just material, okay?
Yes, sir. And this is another view of the debris. And this shows this is picture taken on March 22nd, 2023, of the front of the house. It's the overgrown grass, trees. It's got some broken limbs on the property.
So what needs to be done to bring that into compliance? How much of that needs to be removed is my question.
just where it's overgrown, and some of it's growing into the house, so that would need to be removed and cut back.
So it's like on walkways or?
It's not on the walkway yet, it's just over the fence, pushing through the fence area, the overgrown limbs are. And then there's some that are dead laying down in the yardway.
So to clear the walkways and get it out of the fencing.
Yes, sir. That's just another view that was taken on April 24th, just showing the same view.
What are you looking for in terms of time?
On
90
this,
days?
yes, sir, it was 90 to or 120 days.
So what has to be done in the 90 days?
Any permits pulled that are necessary and get the building secured.
So the permit will be required for roof construction.
Roof and any kind of structure, demolition, anything that the homeowner wants to do.
Because that we're talking about, what we're talking about is roof,
Correct.
window openings,
Yes, sir.
and vegetation that on the walkways and the fencing. And then any broken tree or limbs are done, and then the man-made or debris in the yard.
Yes, sir.
The limbs and the debris can be done within 90 days.
Yes, sir.
Does the window replacement require a permit?
It's probably going to require.
Okay, so if they get permits for the window replacement and the roof within 90 days, and remove the debris within 90 days, they will be in compliance according to the city.
That's correct.
How long does the permit last?
Most of them last up to 6 months. Yes, sir.
All right, where it is. Oh, and is it in the Southern Historic District?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ms. Walsh, would you like to say something? Why not? Before we get to you, raise your right hand for me, make sure you solemnly swear from the testimony she'll give today, she will do the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please identify yourself. You're in the historic district, you get the benefit of her wisdom.
Thank you.
Right. I'm Lisa Walsh, Planning Director for the City of Palaca. This property is located in the Historic District, the South Historic District specifically, and it will need a certificate of appropriateness for any and all repairs.
How does that fit into the permit requirements and for review?
For review, as far as the
Yeah.
timeline, if the applicant were to submit an application this week, it could make the July meeting. If not, it
So
would
the
be
city
the August
looking
meeting.
for getting the certificate of appropriateness before the end of the 90 days. Well,
They would need that prior to getting a permit,
Yes, sir. They
a
would.
building permit for anything.
All right, so you've got yourself a little lockstep timing issue according to the city.
If I may,
Got, so basically, and Uranus is looking at Monday, August 15th is the last day for compliance.
Yes, sir.
What the city's asking for, they're entitled to this, is by the end of the day, on August 15th, 2023, you will have to have gone through historic review and get your permit application.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
okay,
Identify yourself for the record there too.
my name is Dennis Byrne, B-Y-R-N.
Yes, sir.
So the plan is to demolish and take down the house. The house is not salvageable. There is no roof. The house caught fire. The supporting floor joists are burnt. Couple years ago, pre-COVID, he had a demolition permit from the county. I called this morning. They told me that the permit is still valid, that we could start demo today, and that when we're done, all we need to do is call them to have them come close out the permit.
Let me ask you something. I know a little bit about local government law. Demolition might trigger another historic architectural review.
So then I came to the city before the meeting, asked to speak to Lisa, and her assistant told me, so we have the application. I was told we had by the end of the month to get it on the July agenda. So we are submitting to demo the house. I contacted 2 contractors. So we are in a holding pattern until the July meeting of the historic board. Now, the county told me the permit's still valid. I believe he had a certificate of appropriateness for demolition a couple of years ago, but that expired.
How long is it still valid for?
What, the permit with the county?
They're usually 6 months also.
Now, again, I'm a state licensed alarm contractor. I just moved here, but when I called the building department this morning, gave them the address, and she specifically told me, I said, is there any fee to have the permit reinstated? Has it expired? She pulled the address up and she told me that the permit is still valid.
I understand that.
Okay.
But it might be still valid for a month, or it might be still valid for.
Well, it's been valid since COVID, 3-4 years. I can make the trip down there to find out the specifics on the permit. I would not believe it would be expiring anytime soon.
Well,
If it's been open for 3 years.
you know, first of all, let me just make sure you clear this out. Is there any question anyone has about the 5 violations that were alleged?
No, the house is going to be demoed.
That being the case, now we're looking at the solution to the violations. The solution to the violations, the city was looking for, get a permit for the roof and permit for the windows to clean up the yard. You're saying, I want a permit to, or your person you represent wants a permit to demolish it. You say you have one from the county, but I don't know. Anybody can look at that and tell when that thing expires.
Was he approved for?
Okay, this is not a conversation about it. This is a hearing, okay? The only question is, if I enter an order that says you have to have compliance by the end of August 15th, 2023, then you need a permit for that work by that time.
Correct.
And you have to go through a historic architectural review.
Correct, and we're working on submitting that within the next 2
Well,
weeks.
that's fine. I'll leave that up to you to sort that out. But if you don't have a permit that lasts, long enough to be of use to you, you'll never get to the historic architectural review. Just so you know.
Understood.
Okay. You may have to go ahead and apply for no.
No, understood. I can have no problem following up with the county on this permit.
Are we on the same page with the city and how this? All right. That being the case, what it looks like to be, we have violations of 30-32A, there are 4 of them regarding the deteriorating building, the overgrown grass, trees, broken tree limbs on the property, trash and debris, roofing disrepair that did not inquire. Did you take all the photographs you presented?
Yes,
based on
sir, I
what
did.
evidence? And do they actually represent the condition of the property that you took?
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything else you want to offer in terms of any evidence of testimony? Other than the solution?
I already cleaned the yard up, picked all the tree branches up, and, I'll be getting on the fence, cutting it up.
And then you need to make sure you get in contact with Ms. Lowe before the end of the day on August 15th, make sure she sees that all that's done,
Okay,
all right? And then you need to make sure she understands also before that day, that you have a permit in hand and you cleared historic architectural review,
okay.
all right? Then they're lockstep, you gotta have to have a permit before you get over there. Ms. Walsh, the architecture review requires some demonstration of what's going to be built in place of the demolished structure?
No, sir, it does not.
Right.
But there are no guarantees as for the approval of it.
There are jurisdictions where you can't take it down until you show them what you're going to build to replace it with. This is not one of those, apparently. Okay. So,
I apologize. I believe there is a provision
and there's for that.
in there. Yes.
So to get approval from architecture review, then you only have to have a permit to demolish it. You have to have how much of a rendering to show what's going to go there in replacement.
Not certain on that one. I'm sure it's a set of plans or at least a
It's not,
preliminary conceptual plan. Right,
Just so you know.
it's a big process.
No, sorry, so am I to understand we're applying to remove the house because it can't be saved? They're going to be required to build a new structure on that lot?
That is my understanding, yes.
That's the way apparently the code reads. Again, that's a matter I don't get to deal with. I just want you to understand the nature of the compliance issue.
how come I can't tear it down and leave it as an empty lot?
Sorry,
How come I not tear it down and leave it as an empty lot?
because that's not what the code apparently provides.
There's several houses in there that have been done like that.
And I can't talk about those cases. I can talk about the one in the.
I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so if that's the case, what we're going to do is find a violation of 30-32A for the deteriorating building, the overgrown grass tree, broken tree limbs on the property, trash and debris, the roofing and disrepair, and a violation of 30-171 for broken windows. We're in order, finding violations requiring compliance, with the, violations no later than the end of the business on August 15th, 2023, that's 90 days. For any reason you can't meet that deadline, you need to get on the stick and get in touch with Ms. Lowe and let her know what's going on. But if you don't, then the fines are going to start. Fines are $25 per violation per day.
Understood.
And it's $125 a day. And if you get in compliance with 2 of them, then they'll knock $50 a day off that. If at the end of that time, there's not compliance, the city can come back and ask for a lien to be placed on the property for the fines. But that does have some bite, and that is something that's provided for in state law and city code. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You will be getting a letter, make sure they have a good address for you or the certified mail, because otherwise they're going to post it.
Yes, sir.
Okay? All right.
Wow. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your patience. Next case, case number 2023-37, property located at 506 Mosley Avenue, under the record of Frederick and Valerie Frederick, husband and wife. Yes, sir. Who are you?
Richard Frederick.
Thank you for coming. All right, Mr. Frederick, you've seen some of the protocol already. This is Mr. Green's case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have an alleged violation of section 30-169, building fronts and sides, lighting streets or public areas, which basically requires a, some consistent good coat of paint for the parts that can be seen. Just for a brief review, one moment, and double check our due process. Looks like they sent a letter to the 506 Mosley Avenue address, but the green card was not signed. Did you get a
No,
notice back as to why?
no, so I spoke with Mr. Richard. We got the letter, he said he's gonna come.
Right.
I got a
Is
volunteer.
that the correct address for you?
It is, and we received the letter. I don't know what the part was.
Well, okay, there is a green card sign. Valerie signed.
That was, no, that was volunteer. That was a volunteer compliance.
Okay. All right, just so you know, we got the right address and you're here. All right, Mr. Green, you got these 2 violations.
Um,
Tell us about it.
well, first the third report.
One violation, excuse me.
It was the first report 17/23, and those appearing was sent 5/2/23. Did not receive a green card by on-place posting was 5/6/23, and site posting was 5/2/23.
All right, just let me make sure we're on the same page. This section of the code looks like all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right of way should be repaired replaced. Every part of the structure visible from a public right of way or buddy street should be made structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions should be removed, repaired, or replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the building. All exposed wood, should be stained or painted. So, is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Like,
Thank you, deteriorating paint.
all right, did you take the photographs you're about to show us?
Yes, sir.
Do the accurate represents conditions of the property on the date of which you took it?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
This bill was taken on April 13, 2023. Deteriorating paint and rotten wood.
Did you get the paint flaking on this?
It's peeling.
What, back up, it says weakened wood.
Yes, sir.
Where is that?
Rotten, we can move
I'm
the
sorry?
dark part. Yes,
That above the windows?
yes, sir.
Oh, below the windows.
It's the whole wall.
And the ventilation area on the gable?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This bill was taken May 12, 2023. This bill was taken April 13th, 2023. This bill was taken May 12, 2023. 4/13/2023. And May 12, 2023.
All right, which sides are we looking at here? Which,
That's, I think that's Diana.
on Diana Street? Is it how-
That's Mosley, that's Mosley, and then the other side.
Mosley's on the front,
Yes, sir.
Diana's on the side.
Yes, sir.
So the house on the corner?
Yes, sir. This is taken April 13, 2023.
All right, we'll go back to the beginning. Okay, what needs to be done to bring that side of the property into compliance? Is that the Mosley side?
That's the downside.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what needs to be,
Need to
what
remove,
what needs to be done there?
remove, replace, and repair, and get a fresh uniform coat of paint.
I'm sorry,
A uniform fresh coat of paint.
what about weakened wood?
Repair, replace, and remove.
Well, he just needs to know what needs to be done to bring it into compliance.
Yes, sir.
So, can you point out where the weakened wood is?
Under the window and
Under
the
the
top.
window. On the top.
Yes, sir.
Next one.
That's a vented area.
Okay, next one.
That's not rotting, it's vented.
Hang on one time. Next. What needs to be done there?
Replace the rotten wood,
Where?
right there, that panel right there.
Show me with your motion.
Here,
Yes, the other side.
So it's behind the panel.
this,
Other side also.
this side,
The shutters,
this,
Yes,
could you be repaired?
yes, yes, sir.
Next. Same picture,
Yes, sir.
yes,
same area, and that wood in the middle. Okay. Next. It just needs to be painted,
Yeah.
scraped and painted. And there also the scraped and painted.
Yes, that's the same picture. I mean, it's different days, same place.
What needs to be done here? This is a photo 4, looking at the 2-car garage.
Just a new, fresh uniform coat of paint and the police are repair the rotten wood.
And those garage doors,
Yes, sir.
what do you think need to be done to those?
Remove, replace, or repair. Rotten wood. Uniform fresh coat of paint.
Can you see those from Diana or?
That's Diane.
All right, this back to Diana's
Yes.
side. Number 4B.
Yes, for the first one was, for.
So what you're telling me is that the city's view of compliance is scrape and paint at least the Mosley and Diana sides.
Yes, sir.
Replace the rotten wood underneath the upstairs windows on the Diana side. Looks like the top of the gable or the peak of the roof on the Diana side, as well as the garage door.
Yes,
Right? And on the Mosley side, what?
it's paint.
Just paint,
Yes.
scrape and paint. Just require permit.
No, sir.
So you're asking for 90 days to do this.
Yes, sir.
Is that practical in this day and time, given availability of contractors? What if they make a good faith effort, get a contractor and don't get one? I don't know what the situation is over here with contractors.
Well, and that's a good question. If the property owner shows that they're trying to make, and they keep informing us of what's going on, they're having delays, we will look at extending at least 30 more days up to 120 days. But right now, we just want to get the property in compliance as soon as possible.
All right, Mr. Frederick, you've been patient, and thank you for that. Your turn.
So I think the city should recognize that I've made significant efforts to improve the property already. I discussed all of this with Mr. Green. I hope perhaps that they give me the additional time they're asking for anyway, but he insisted on that we had to come to the hearing. And of course, that's the city's prerogative. 3 months ago, we replaced the entire roof. Be happy to provide a copy of the invoice for that as well. And quite honestly, $22,000 sort of cuts into the budget for what you can afford to replace. The painting on the side of the house makes no sense without repairing the other damage first. I did talk to a contractor last week. If he were to schedule the entire job, it would be December before he can come. He might be able to fit some other work in between other jobs and get it done before that. Anything short of that means that I'm going to be paying to paint wood that may have to be replaced. Certainly makes no sense to paint the house twice. So I would like to see more than the 90 days provided
How long have you owned the house?
since 1998.
Have you made other improvements on the house other than the roof?
Yes,
What have you done to it?
I replaced on the backside a lot of the fascia and the soffit underneath. There's been work inside as well. Quite honestly, a lot of the problem with the paint is that the previous paint job was just latex paint sprayed over what was already there. They caulked it, they sprayed it, and that's white peeled. The siding itself is mostly bevel cypress, which there are places where there is mildew and there are places where there's some deterioration, but the wood is not like some other types of siding.
What kind of wood is it, you know?
Most of
Is
it-
it one of those cypress houses?
The contractor told me last week that most of it is beveled cypress.
The old days of black building.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Green, where are we with this? What brought this to me if he's making progress on the house?
Sir,
He's making progress on the house with a roof on it. What has caused the city to decide that he's,
Well,
motivation?
The city policy is that we are not gonna, stop the process of bringing houses that's not in compliance to the hearing until they are in compliance. And then we can give them time on the back end if they are showing good faith that they're doing it. And that's the reason why Mr. Green did come to me and ask. And we are aware that you are trying to do things, but then it still is out of compliance in the window that we have for this property. We brought it to the hearing still. We are willing to work with you, but you, from what I'm reading, you said December is the earliest possible time that your contractor can do the work you're asking for.
That's the earliest point that he could schedule the entire job to be done.
And what actually is the job he's asked? What are you asking to do? The demo or tear down anything?
If you'll forgive me, I don't feel like I need to disclose that information because it just gives you more reasons to come cite me.
Okay,
Here's the thing. The city has wielded a certain amount of authority with this in terms of what they can do. Hang on. And, you can tell from my questions previously, I'm concerned that, yes, I want to wield that authority, it has to be done in a reasonable way. And usually when they come here, it's because they've had difficulty getting the owner to comply otherwise. And they start bringing out the hammer and says, I need to have this to hang over their heads to get something done. But what I'm hearing is that there's no real disagreement, there's a violation, there's a disagreement as to the order of things in terms of putting this house back into a usable form. Does appear the owner has been making some progress, has owned the house for a series of time. The city believes apparently that more progress should be done more quickly. The contractor, the owner indicates that he can have a contractor at work sometime in December, it looks like. The question is, you come in here and say, I want to have this done within 90 days and there's no contractor. That was my question earlier. What's the city do in those circumstances?
well, like I said earlier, we can discuss, and if his contractor can give us some definitive that he would, and December is the stretch that I'm looking at. You're looking at 7 months of this sitting where it's sitting, and you don't want to share, and I understand that, but I'm trying to make sure we do not let this go unaddressed, because it has been unaddressed for a while.
What kind of assurance would satisfy the city between now and August 15th that this is going to get done?
Maybe a binding contract between him and his contractor he's dealing with, that December time frame would be a starting point for him to do the work that they got going on.
Who knows what can get in the way of that, but
Yeah.
how does that work for you?
Honestly, Mr. Brown, I'm trying to find out what I've got to do to get the city off of my back so that we can do things in the proper order that make the most
Right
sense.
now, only thing I can look at is what's in front of me today. What's in front of me today is basically painting this house with some relatively, I don't know how far the wood situation is, but they've only pointed to a couple of areas where there's a wood deterioration issue. To be honest with you, they only got authority to complain about 2 sides of the house, the ones on Mosley and the one on Diana. But the way that the ordinance reads is what's visible from the street. That being the case, I mean, do you want to partially paint a house? That's up to y'all. Right now, compliance is get the house painted on those two sides, fix these two areas where there's some roof, some deteriorating wood. And I think that's it in a nutshell. I mean, what I'm hearing from him is, as to those matters, can you get something that, you know, gives the city some comfort that there's somebody on board to do this work?
Yes.
You can do that. Is that satisfied? Is that right?
Yes.
You have a 6 month for that?
See some,
So the compliance issue. Here's the thing. You might, you end up back here if, you know, come December, nothing's going on in this house. And what I would suggest you do is maintain some contact with the city in terms of trying to get this.
And
This is not my issue. The city, they're under a little political pressure on this blight situation that they're into, and there are a lot of cases that are now coming before me and code enforcement compliance.
Well,
You're gonna see more and more.
The stick and the stick.
All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna find the violation of 30-169 of the municipal code, buildings front and side, specifically on Mosley and Diana Drive, Mosley Avenue and Diana Drive, due to deteriorating paint and the deteriorating wood in a couple of the locations which have been noted on the record. We'll have 90 days from today's date to complete compliance, that is, by the end of business on Monday, August 15th, 2023. Compliance should be some type of proof satisfactory to the city that there's a contractor on board who can solve the violations that have been cited by that time. Whatever else you deal with in the context of that fine. Right now, the only thing in front of me is these two buttons, right? Right, and this address, 506 Mosley, they'll get them a certified letter to that particular. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay, guys, it's getting warm. Lisa's back there painting herself.
The heck?
I understand this building's 100, how many years old? About your age. It did not come with air conditioning, but it's here and they closed off all the doors, so we're gonna need a little ventilation.
I feel it now, so we should be cooling off here, so.
Because you just don't know what this town is like without air conditioning. All right, here we go. Third case today is going to be case number 2023-60, property 212 South 14th Street, owner, record, hang on. The theme, is that correct?
My name is Billy Pagliocci. I'm power of attorney for Kathy.
Okay, very good.
He's
And the
incarcerated.
It's the theme hour, is that?
He's incarcerated at present, has been since June of
Okay.
2022.
I'm sorry to hear that. Hope things will work out in the end. Will you have a power of attorney?
I have power of attorney, yes, sir.
Right, this case belongs to Ms. Lowe.
Yes.
Just as a matter of before we get started,
No problem.
what address do we have for the respondent? You got notice apparently.
It went, his mother got a notice somehow for the PO or for the post office in St. Augustine, and I went and picked it up. I gave her his address. We own a home in Palm Coast. And that is his address.
All right.
His physical
Yeah,
address.
the address is 46 Netflix Street in Augustine.
No, it should be 137 Point Pleasant Drive.
So if there is, there was been for that address, but is there another
That's his
address?
mother's address.
Is that be satisfactory?
I mean,
I've been.
it took me a while to get a hold of it.
I hope you get lost.
Yeah,
Um,
she has been sending stuff to us.
I would just like to confirm that was 134 Point Pleasant,
137.
137?
Point Pleasant Drive, Palm Coast, Florida, 32164.
32164 Palm Coast. Okay, and I'll have the findings of facts reflect that, sir.
All right, so
Yes, sir. This was first observed on March 22nd, 23rd, the violations. The notice for hearing was sent May 1st, 2023. The green card wasn't signed, was not returned, on either one, the hearing or, the 10-day compliance. It was posted on May 6th and site posted on May 1st. And this was one of the original pictures that I took on March 14th, 2023 of rotten leaking wood. It's up on the rim of the house where the blue arrows are.
Now, there are two violations alleged, one of section 30-169D as in Delta for building fronts and sides of letting streets or public areas, mold and mildew on the structure. And a section 30-169B as in Bravo, building fronts and sides of letting streets or public areas, rotten and weakened wood. So basically, we've got mold and mildew and rotten and weakened wood on the street front side of the property.
That's correct, sir.
Is this property side, front more than one street?
No, sir.
So it only struck, excuse me.
It only faces, yeah.
14th Street.
South 12th Street.
This is historic?
I'm sorry.
No.
No, sir.
All right, please proceed.
And the next photo is, it's just an updated, after some work was done, but you can still see the rotten weakened wood facing the road.
So in that photo, can you point out, oh, you've got the.
Where the arrows are, it's
This is
completely
just
black
on
and
the
rotten.
eve of the roof and
Yes.
stuff.
Correct, on that side, and the other side, you can see where it's rotten and weakened.
Just like on the underlayment of.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's just a better version of what we're looking at, that was taken on March 14th. And that was the updated version on April 25th when I did the follow-up. This was taken on March 14th. It's a little hard to see. It's black. It's got some mold and mildew, and also talking to the property owner, it's got some fire damage right there.
Okay.
This is a little bit better picture of it. You can see the mold and mildew, and then where the fire damage, where the property owner showed me the fire damage was.
So go back and make sure we're clear on just exactly what weakened wood needs to be replaced. The mildew is on the street side,
Yes, sir.
and that's going to be pressure washed.
Yes, sir.
That'd be enough.
Yes, sir.
This is the roof eave,
Yes, sir.
okay, to the right of the house as you look at it from the street,
Correct.
okay? That's the same picture there. And then the roof eave underneath the roof on the left side of the house as you look at it.
Correct, facing the street.
So that would need to be replaced along with the eave on the right side. It needs to be pressure washed.
Yes, sir.
Did you take all the photographs you're presenting today as demonstrative evidence?
Yes, sir, I did.
And do they accurately represent the condition of the property the day which you took them?
Yes, sir, they do.
Hi, thank you for your patience. This is an unusual duty.
Yeah.
What can you, well, first of all, any response to the allegation?
Okay, yeah, okay. First of all, a lot of it is smoke damage. The house burned down. It's a tax deed property. Kathleen has been incarcerated since June of 2022. My main issue here is time. Like I've said, even cleaned up the yard. I have recent pictures from this weekend. Okay, I've done everything. I'm having an issue with the neighbors also, parking in the yard, throwing trash in the yard. So when there's trash and stuff, like even like literally I cleaned it Saturday and came back and there's trash in the yard and corn cobs and stuff like that on Sunday. So, you know, all those type of things, like I can't control the neighborhood doing that. I ripped up the fence and everything else that she asked. I'm going there. I work 65 hours a week and I go there on the weekend with my kids to do all this. Now, as far as the roof and all that's concerned, I do not argue that there's weakened rotted wood. But I have neither of the resources nor to know how which Cassie does, and Cassie was repairing the home before he got incarcerated. He had an issue prior to that because of the access to the street and stuff like that. Because that whole street was tore up for quite some time, and they were right in front of the house for a while. They just put down a new sidewalk and new road and all that also. Really what I need is time. He has another 7 or 8 months left of his sentence.
Well, if I might add, you talk about time, and we've said this before in other cases, usually these things do not get as far as coming before the special magistrate unless there has been some difficulty in trying.
I was unaware of it until,
And I'm sure you are, in a sense of how this works. And Mr. Howard's been incarcerated for a year. When would he get out?
he's got 8 more months of his sentence left.
What's the action? I mean,
Around.
it's not my business.
He's eligible.
Realistic standpoint, what do you
He's
want?
eligible for game time. Possibly September, but most likely December.
What's the real likelihood Does he have the resources to do this?
He uses reclaimed wood. He does know how to do the roof and all that. That's what he does, is handyman work and all that. He did all the work inside. He already had a permit once and was doing work inside the house,
So his solution is he's gonna do the work himself,
pretty much.
so that's not gonna happen for at least 8 months.
Yes. Right now, like I
So
said,
you don't have any possibility of doing it.
I cannot do that. I don't have the resources. I mean, we spend a lot of money on lawyer fees, as you can imagine, and all that other good stuff. We are pretty much tapped out at this point right now. And I don't have the know either. So to hire somebody, I mean, something like I can pressure wash the house, I could even kill the front of it if, where the smoke damage is. I don't know pressure washing, it's gonna take the smoke damage off, because that's what it is, smoke damage. The house previously burned.
Well, what is the structural condition of this house? Does anyone?
In the back of it, he's rebuilding the back of it, but the inside, he's pretty much taken care of with the previous permits. But the outside, I have noticed, like, there's some termite damage in some of the places. He's gonna have to pull off and repair. And like, most definitely where she's got arrows, it needs repaired. The roof, he had started on the roof, but like I said, he got incarcerated. He had no intention of getting incarcerated.
So no one really knows whether this house can actually be saved as opposed to just demolished.
I am not a
No one here.
professional in that area, no.
So what's been the city's
He
procedure when you
has,
have an owner who is incarcerated? I can give all the orders I want about clients, but he's in jail, guys.
Well, I mean,
Did you know he was incarcerated?
no, I did not know that.
I mean, they're entitled to an order, but if, I can tell you right now, you know full well, it's not going to have any compliance probably for another 8 months. At the earliest in the next year.
I mean, I'll continue to work on the property what I can, but like that stuff, I can't do. I'm just gonna be honest right now. I can't do it and I don't have the means to do it right now.
Can I speak? The pressure washing and I guess the beautification of the houses, which pretty sure the roof issues probably gonna require a permit. Can you seek the permit? Because the permit normally has a 6-month lifespan. So that right there will put you.
Yeah, how do I go about getting the permit?
And Ms.
So if
Lowe,
I don't complete it by the time that permit's up, can I get another permit?
This will be glad to give you some contact information. Very responsive and she'll try to work with your situation.
And however I can finagle the time things are really the only issue right now.
How many permits are needed?
I would probably say a roof permit, depending on what you want to do to the roof, is remove it, replace it, or repair it. But a roof permit to repair or replace something that we can wood, right away, like you can demo the whole roof out if you want to. In doing that, I will give you 120 days to accrue that permit. And then you have 6 months of the permit life share. So by my calculation, that would put you right in the time for you to be
I
coming home.
appreciate it.
Doing that. Right now?
Like all the other stuff I can do, we've been going out there every weekend since I got the notice. And like, I mean, cause it was a mess, like, I ain't even lying, like, there was trash buried in the ground and trying to get that fence out and everything else, and it's just me and my kids doing it on weekends.
Did you use what's 120 days?
120 days is September 13th. It is a Wednesday, sir. You're
All right,
welcome.
what we're going to do, and thank you for everybody's participation in the usual set of facts. We're going to find a violation of looks like section 3169D, building fronts inside the way, streets or public areas, local and water structure, and 30-169B, building fronts inside the way, streets or public areas, rotten and weakened wood. We're going to find a violation and require compliance by obtaining the necessary permits for the rotten and weakened wood within 120 days. That is by the end of business on September 13th, 2023. As to the pressure washing, Mr. Cutwright,
Yes.
you do that within 120 days also?
Yes.
So we'll have that. Building needs to be pressure washed. At least the side is facing 14.
Yeah. I don't have a problem doing all that, like I said, it's the other stuff that I just can't do.
In the event of non-compliance, there will be a $25 day fine, which will accrue the property beginning on the day after the last day of compliance, which will be September 14th, 2020. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, the letter will come to address of record, which is what?
So that's been updated to 137 Port Pleasant Drive, Palm Coast 32164.
Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, thank you for your patience. Appreciate you. Okay.
And
Case number 2023.
Thank you so much.
Case number 2023, 411 Laurel Street, Honolulu County, Vestal. Please come forward. Are you Mr. Vestal?
Sir.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you for your patience. All right, Ms. Lotus, your case.
Yes, sir, it is. This is case number 2023-049, 411 Laurel Street. First observed the violations on March 9th, 2023. The notice of hearing was sent, May 1st. I did not receive any green cards back for the 10-day compliance for the hearing. It was posted, complex posting May 6th and site posting May 1st. And this is, just the front picture facing, Laurel Street.
All right, let me sure we got a couple things. Some record keeping. Looks like we have 3 late violations of 30-32B. Bravo of the code, prohibited condition uses of trash and debris in the yard. Section 30-169, building fronts and sides of budding streets or public areas, rotten and weakened wood, the street abut or any other building abut any other streets other than Laurel Street.
This actually had facing from Emmett and Laurel. Yes.
And then 30-171, broken and missing windows. And it does not look like the green card was signed at the 414 River Street, Palatka, Florida 32177 address. Is that your correct name, address?
No, I sold that place in March.
All right. Well, just so you know, the property appraiser and the tax collector have that address as the official address for this property.
Oh, they
know
that.
Well, the state statute requires that's the one we look to first. And they posted the properties, everybody, so.
Yes, sir.
All right, you are here. Thank you for that. What's the correct address for your mailing?
Be 149. I'm sorry. 119 year old lane. 5177.
Harold Lane?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're here. Thank you for coming. And the note, the affidavit of service was placed in the record. Is that correct? Is that
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay. All right, she's going to show you the violations. And Ms. Lowe, did you take the photographs you're about to show us today?
Yes, sir, I did.
And do they accurately represent the condition of property on the day which you took them?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
This particular photo was taken on March 21st, 2023, and it's the side facing Emmett. And it's missing windows where the arrows are. Some windows are missing, some windows are broken. And on the next one,
All right, so back up. So this has to do with broken or missing windows.
that's correct.
And there are how many
There was 9
broken and missing windows?
throughout the house. Yes, sir.
And this is around the house. That's not restricted to the.
That's
frontage.
correct. That's correct.
Okay. What needs to be done to fix that? If you board them up or do you need new windows?
They have current residents, so they would just need to be replaced, removed, or repaired.
Very well, next.
Excuse me.
Oh, wait till we get done. You get your chance. Okay, next one.
Yes, sir. The next one is an updated photo of my follow-up, which was taken actually yesterday because they've been working on the house. So the top ones have been repaired. And now we're just looking at the bottom ones that are left on this side of the house. And then the rest of the windows, it was a total of 5 left that are still broken, missing windows.
So when was the tops repaired?
They've been working on it over the last few months.
After you began contact with the owner?
They've had it in the process. They were just waiting on the worker to get to them. But I learned that after the fact from the renters.
Did you become convinced they weren't going to get it finished?
They've been working on it. There's a lot that needs to be done. So they are making progress. But with our policy, we just keep moving forward until it comes into compliance.
Hold on to your thoughts. Let her finish. Go on next. Are those part of the 9 windows?
They were, some of them were fixed. So there was 5 left.
So they're now 5 left.
Yes, sir. This is the side that's facing Laurel, and it has the broken cracked window on the bottom, which where you see the arrow. And This is an updated photo, the same side where you can see the broken window, he's repaired the top. And then the bottom, it's just got the rotten, just the woods. The wood is placed where the window should come all the way down. And this here was taken on March 21st.
3A.
Yes, sir, the rotten weakened wood. It's on the rim of the bottom part of the house. And then where the one arrow is, it's real dark, where it was rotten.
Okay, so I'm looking at on the outside of the house.
Yes, sir,
From
facing
Wall
Emmett.
Street,
This is facing Emmett, yes, sir.
in the street. And what is that I'm looking at? Is that flooring?
This is, the
Okay.
second part of the house, like the second, floor where it's rotten and weakened wood. That was the original picture on March 21st. Then if you go to the next one where I did a follow-up, this was April 22nd. He's replaced some of the rotten weakened wood up there. So what's left is on the second flooring to the left of the house. And then you can see a little bit more of the rotten weakened wood, where the arrows are pointed. That's what's left on the left side of the house when you're facing Emmett.
Right.
That's just a different picture of it to show, he has tried to bring it into compliance on that, but that is just what's left on the follow-up on April 26th.
All right, anything else?
The only thing was that there was some, trash and debris that was visible from the roadway. This one was originally taken March 21st. The property owner has complete, if you go to the next photo, some of it has been removed, but that's what's left. And that was taken on April 26th.
So how long have you been in contact with the owner, Mr. Vestal, regarding this wood?
I actually met him the first time today, but I've been in contact with the renters and, I spoke to a couple of the workers that come and talk to me.
Okay. So progress is ongoing.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything in particular that triggered this?
We, received several complaints, and even during this work process, I've received 2 more.
Does any of this work require permits?
No, sir, not what I'm seeing.
No. For an agreement, no permits are required.
This is historic condition. Come on in, Ms. Wallace. This is historic condition.
I'm curious if he's doing the work without permits. Nobody's alleged that. Let's see where we are.
Window replacements require permits, and because this is in a historic district, it also requires a certificate of appropriateness.
And what about the weakened wood? That going to require some?
It depends on the extent of the repair. But in our case, that's a building department determination. In my world, as far as the historic district items are concerned, there are things on the certificates of approval, certificates of appropriateness that I can approve at the staff level. So if it's relatively minor repairs, broken windows, small areas of wood replacement, that sort of thing, I can approve that at the staff level. But things like the replacement of the windows have to go to the historic district.
So really, he needs 2 doorways. You need to cross one, certificate of appropriateness for the wood repair and a permit for the window
Yes,
replacement.
and the certificate of appropriateness for the window replacement, yes.
How long does it take to generally get those?
As I mentioned earlier, if an application is received in the next week or so, we can get it on the July agenda. If not, it won't go to.
More than 90 days?
No, August would be.
July, or- Yeah,
So it could be within 90 days. Getting a permit may take longer.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Zeppo, do you know you need a permit to replace these windows?
I did not, this is all.
All right, guys. Some progress is being made. Do you have any problem? What's your time frame for getting these done?
Well, I guess I gotta stop.
we're making progress, but not gonna stop now, what they're telling me, right?
Well, now you know what the law is, but there's.
So, you want me to stop, hold what I'm doing, right? Stop working on it?
I'm not,
Is that
I
what
don't
they're
have the
saying?
authority to issue that order.
No, that's what they're
telling you what
saying.
I
She's
did.
saying I gotta wait for a permit, so just stop what I'm doing, stop the process,
And you'll need to
Right?
talk with, you'll need to talk with the
Yes,
building official.
yes.
stop the process.
Do you get this?
So you want it done, you ride my ass, you want the stuff done, I started doing the stuff,
We're not
and now
gonna.
you tell me to hold.
Okay, guys, we're not gonna have that argument here. Okay, Ron, but the front went through 2 violations regarding
Ron,
windows, trash and debris, actually 3. Rotten weekend with the trash and debris looked like something we saw without a permit. Can you
well, actually, the second photo you pulled up, it was a jet ski, a grill. That stuff, his personal stuff he's keeping, or that trash? Who determines that?
It's still in the yard. And
Well, where's it supposed to go? It's a grill and a
I'm sorry.
sea-doo.
wherever you can put it outside. There's no more in the yard.
Where would you like me to put it?
Again, as long as it's not visible to the front of the street side of the house, you put
A
it on
little
the side.
gate around?
Yeah, that's fine, long as you can.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not a, that is, like I said, we, until you can get the permits and the certificate of appropriation, appropriateness from the historical board, since you're in the historical neighborhood, we would ask you to stop working until you get that situation.
okay.
Or we come out and
It's
put a stop.
actually another violation, don't even.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, come out and put a stop
But
on.
that's not in front of us today.
Yeah.
All right. Based on what, anything else you want to add?
Yes,
Cool.
the roof on year before last,
Okay.
new roof. We spent $7,000, got the house tinted because there's a process. And everybody's issue here they had today goes down to one thing. People don't want to work on these old houses. They want to do new builds. They want to go in there and make new bucks. So you can't get somebody in there. It's hard to get somebody. Somebody came from a different state to do this. And that's one thing. The other thing is there's a lady lives next door. That's where all the issues is for this place. She's trying to sell her house. And it's not getting done fast enough when her buyer come look in her house, so she's complaining. And I understand that. But she bought the house with this conditions there. So, but I started working on the house before they even said anything to me. They didn't come to me and say, hey, I started already. And I'm doing what they're wanting me to do. Now they want me to stop. That really it's not logical, but it makes sense, but I'll comply. I want to comply and get this taken care of.
You're not the first owner, nor will you be the last that's been caught up with this kind of crossfire. I wish I could tell you that all your neighbors are going to be just wonderfully upset with everything you want to do, but they complain. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. One of the good things in Florida law now is as of year before last, you can't complain anonymously. You have to actually put your name on the line as to who you are.
Oh, I know what it is.
But the county can also, or excuse me, the city can also find violations on their own, but nonetheless, complaints are no longer anonymous. Here's the deal. I got limited jurisdiction to deal with this. I mean, and I've seen this before where people have been hit with violation.
I can have all this thing down the front yard last week.
Here's what I like, I think it's fair. Unapplied violation of 3032B for the trash and debris, 169 for the rotten weakened wood that faces Laurel Street.
That's all been replaced, Your Honor.
And then the broken and missing windows, 30-171. I don't think you're gonna be able to get a permit in 30 days.
We moved it
So
down.
I'm gonna look for the end of August. What's August 31st, Aaron? What day?
90 days will be August 15th, a Monday.
Give them to the end of August, because I don't know when that meeting's gonna be. What days of the week is 31st?
I will look in that for you, sir.
Your Honor, so I tell the guy to stop working. He pulled off the job and goes somewhere else to work. What if I can't get him back?
Yeah, let me, you talk with the city about what you'd like to do about that.
Sir, August 31st is a Thursday.
Thursday, okay. We're gonna, will require compliance no later than the end of business on August 31st, 2023. Compliance is going to be getting the permits for the window replacement and getting any other permits that are required to do the work. But the debris in the yard needs to go within 30 days.
Oh, that'd be done.
That's gonna be on July
End of the week.
16, 2023. Let me see what else. All right, Ryan, we can would now give you a chance to go through the.
That's what I've been fixed.
I don't want to know at this point. Make sure, work with Ms. Lowe on compliance
Yes, sir.
on those things. When you get the yard clean, call and tell us done.
All cost.
When you get, if the wood's done, call and tell it's done.
Gotcha.
And then get your permits done and get the reviews done. You got 90 days on that,
Thank you, sir.
okay? And we're gonna get to over 11. Sorry, I complicated your order, but we'll deal with it. All right.
We'll work it out.
Anything else?
Okay, so that brings us back to,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
back to the top of our agenda.
We will.
What's listed as case number 2, the second position, case 2023080, 400 North 4th Street.
And this is owned by the Herbert S. Delaney and Tracy Ledford, is that correct? Or Herbert S. Delaney or Tracy Ledford, or anyone representing either of those individuals present? Mr. Green?
Yes, sir. Further 3/4/17/2023, the notice of hearing was sent out 5/2/2023.
Okay.
No green card was returned. Complex posting was 5/6/2023. Site posting was 5/2/2023. This is just a view of the housing. That's 4th Street. That's not 4th Street. Not Street.
All right, just for the record, we do not have any of the respondents present. We're in the process.
Waiting in North Carolina.
Okay. And this address 13432 Providence Road, Weddington, North Carolina 21880. There's another address, it's like, oh, wait, 28104. That is the official address of record on property appraisal and tax collector rolls.
Yes,
And you posted the property,
yes, sir.
you have your affidavit of posting,
Yes, sir.
showing posting on May 2nd at the property, also on May 2nd here at City Hall, correct?
Yes.
Any contact with
No.
Mr. Delaney or Ms. Ledford?
No, sir.
All right, please proceed.
This picture was taken April 11/2023. That's Madison Street.
All right, this is deteriorating paint. You're
Yes.
looking at, see, we had one violation, building fronts and sides of lighting streets and public areas, paint deteriorating. This is on 4th Street.
Madison.
Is it the
That
corner lot?
would
Is
be
it the
Madison,
corner lot?
sir.
Is it a corner lot?
Yes, sir.
Which other?
Madison.
Madison?
Yes, sir.
And number 1, is this view from which street?
That's Madison Street.
And the paint is what, flaky?
Yes, sir.
Moldy? Is it moldy? I can't tell.
It's flaky.
Just flaky?
Yes, a better picture than this.
This is also Madison Street?
Yes, sir. Taken 5/12/23. That's the same, it's, second floor. Need to remove the deteriorating paint and put a uniform visual paint. It's 5/12/2023, 2B.
Is it number 2B?
Yes, sir.
So on what, 4th Street and Madison Street basically needs to be repainted,
Yes, sir. Remove,
or all the parts that can be seen from 4th Street and
Yes.
Madison Street. This
Yes.
will require a permit.
yes, sir, that's Madison Street, yes, sir. And this was taken in May 12/23.
So it's a pressure wash off of scrape all the paint off and it's uniform.
Yes, sir.
Is that a violation?
Would be in compliance.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does it have to be painted?
Yes, sir. If you go on pressure wash, you have some exposed wood have to be painted. Stain.
There's no houses in the city that have exposed wood. There is. Well, apparently, as long as 90% of it's painted, Away the code. reads.
Okay, we'll get.
Who wrote that?
Not us.
Where surfaces were once painted or stained, not more than 10% of the surface may be free of paint. So if they come in and pressure wash it, and 90% of it's painted,
The other side that we can't see, I can't
well,
see.
there's not, it had to be 90% of the side you can see.
Yes.
Okay,
Uh,
does this require a permit?
No, sir.
Time you want to give them?
90 days, two-story house, yes.
Last call for Herbert F. Delaney or Tracy Ledford or anyone representing either of those individuals. Seeing and hearing no one, will apply a violation of 30-169 of the municipal code, city of Palatka, due to deteriorating paint on the building fronts and sides of letting streets and public areas. What it's right here is actually abutting the side. Street would be North 4th Street and Madison Street, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
When applying violations, and require that the property be brought into compliance by repainting those sides which abut, at a minimum, those sides which abut 4th Street and Madison Street. Compliance must be completed no later than the end of business on Monday, August 15th, 2023, 90 days from today. All right, next case, looks like 2023-83, property located at 1623 Eagle Street. Property owner appears to be Rennell Miller Jr. Is Rennell Miller Jr. present? Is everyone, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir. The property was first observed 4/17/2023. And notice of hearing is, sent out 5/2/23. No green card return. Complex posted was 5/6/2023. Site posted was 5/2/2023.
All right, no matters of due process, it does not look like we have a signed green card. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Do we get an envelope back or anything? Or
No.
anything? Why? If they send you an envelope or a green card.
No.
All right, the address of record appears to be the 1623 Eagle Street, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that the official address of the public record of the property appraiser and tax collector?
No, sir. It's actually been down south somewhere.
Why did did you send it there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's why I don't know on the record where you sent it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, here is the green card. All right. Looks like 123 West Second Avenue, Pearson, Florida, 321002294.
Yes, sir.
And that's the official address of record? Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
You posted the property on May 2nd,
Yes, sir.
and you have the affidavit service in the ring.
Yes, sir.
Any contact with Mr. Hill?
No.
Anyone living on this property?
There was waters. So the police went in that day, I called them, the one that was open, and they came in and got some people out of the house and they secured the house. That's the one that I want to secure.
2003, alleged violations, 30-32A of the city code, prohibited conditions of public nuisances, overgrown grass, 30-32A, trash and debris, and 30-176 of the city code, exterior property areas, a shed is deteriorating. And you have some photographs for us?
Yes, sir.
And did you take the photographs?
Yes, sir.
And do they accurately represent the condition of property and data that you took?
Yes, sir.
Please,
This is taken 4/18/2023, trash and debris.
okay, back up.
Yes, sir.
This is just man-made debris here.
Yes, sir.
Number one. Next,
Taken 5/12/23, 1B. It has the debris. Another picture of the debris that was taken 4/18/2023. This is 5/12/2023, 2B. This is trash and debris in the backyard, that's 16th Street, I wanna say. With trash and debris,
Needs to be mowed and that debris removed.
yes, sir. 5/12/23, the same debris on 16th Street. You see it on 16th Street, North 15th Street. This is a picture of the shed deteriorating.
Okay,
This is 5/12/23.
all right, tell me about the shed. Is it like a metal shed?
Yes, sir. Falling apart.
What's the solution for that?
Remove, repair, replace, or remove.
Is that apart from it?
I don't think so.
Is this historic district?
No,
No.
How big does it have to be before you need a demolition permit?
uh,
You're saying you don't need a permit to remove this.
That's a good question, Mr. Brian. Get that, get back to you about. I'm gonna use the political move on that one.
But right now, it's a no, you don't know.
Nah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, anything else?
overgrown grasses.
Just the vegetation?
Yes,
I'm looking at picture 5.
that's from,
They just need to be mowed, is that correct?
yes, that's from 16th Street, North 16th Street. And this is another picture of the same 5/12/23, 5B.
And the property's vacant?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
So basically what they need to do is mow the grass, keep it maintained, remove the man-made debris in the yard, and then remove the shed,
Yes, sir.
none of which requires a permit, at least as far as we know. Okay. All right, based on the evidence and testimony presented, we're going to find a violation of 30-32A of the city code, prohibited conditions of public nuisances due to overgrown grass and vegetation. A violation of section 30-32A, prohibited conditions of public nuisances due to trash, man-made trash and debris in the yard. And a section 30-176, exterior property areas due to deteriorating shed, which needs to be removed. Or enter order finding violations and require the property owner bring the property into compliance no later than the end of business on Friday, June 16, 2023, $35 a day. A fine of $25 per violation will begin to accrue on Monday, June 18th, in the event of non-compliance. All right. Anything else? No. If not, we'll go to case number 2023-38, property located at 319 North 7th Street. Property owner appears to be Annette Evans. Annette S. Evans. Is Annette S. Evans present? Anyone representing her? I see you here, no one, Mr. Green.
Yes, sir. Property first reserved, 8/1/2022, actually. The notice was handed out 5/2/2023. No card was returned. Complex posting was 5/6/2023. The site posting was 5/2/2023.
All right, in due process matters. See, the green card was returned unsigned at the address of 11541 Pumpkin Seed Court, Orlando, Florida, 32821. And that's the official address of record.
Yes, sir.
And you posted the property?
Yes, sir.
And when was it posted?
May sixth, 2023.
Should May 2nd on your affidavit,
Oh, remember, May second.
and you include a photograph of the posting, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And any contact at all with Ms. Evans?
Back in August of 2022, yes, sir, they was building and they didn't have a permit, and I actually put a stop work on it, and I haven't heard from her since. And the building just started deteriorating. Well, the shell started deteriorating.
So North 7th, is that a historic district? We're just outside of it.
Do you have the map available?
No, no, ma'am, I do not.
That's,
I believe we could find that on
What?
the city site.
I think it stops east of there.
I'm sorry?
I believe it stops east of there, but I really need to look at the map.
Isn't it on the website?
Yes,
Is it-
it's on the website under
Planning board?
Historic Preservation Board.
Okay. So,
Historic District boundary there.
okay, yes, I'll mark it.
Just outside the district.
Yeah, it sounds like this street, this one, seven,
I could remember went to 4th and 5th, but
right? Have we already done the 400 North Fourth Street
I'm sorry?
case? Have we already done the 400 North Fourth Street case?
Yes.
There's two on the agenda.
Yes,
Yes,
Pretty sure that's in a historic district.
we need to paint.
Well, they will still need to see it.
Oh, okay,
Very restricted.
okay.
So in that case, that would be having like, okay, that's
okay,
the report on judge review.
Depends on what color they want to use to paint it. If that's something that I can approve at the staff level.
Or is there an official palette of colors?
Not official palette, it's all in the Secretary's interior standards.
Okay.
It depends on
You're not gonna join Charleston, St. Augustine, New Orleans, and have official palettes of colors?
I'm sorry, sir, what was that?
You're not gonna join those cities that have an official palettes of colors? It's sort of facetious. You'd be amazed how many times it comes up and you have an official palette of colors and somebody doesn't want to choose one of them.
we're up to 19,
So
correct?
we're mixing the record, so let's hold that
Yes, sir.
thought
Yes, sir.
and come back to that. This is not a historic district.
Correct.
Okay, and we're talking about the property at 319 North Stone.
Mhm.
All right, we have two alleged violations, 30-32A, prohibited condition, public nuisance, trash and debris, rear and side walls deteriorating. That was these 30-170. Which have a section reference to. The record includes 30-169. So which violation?
I have, got where that at.
Yeah, 170 on the notice. So which is it?
170.
Okay, can you give me a look at that?
Yes, sir.
What's that?
170, 30-170.
Oh, you need me to pull it?
Well, let's see, we had another case with that in 313. What's that?
Rear and side walls.
Not this one, no.
Yes, the 30-170, I will put it up here for the group. Rear and side walls of all structures shall be repaired and painted to present a neat and fresh appearance. Rear walls should be painted to cover evenly all miscellaneous.
All right. So basically, we're looking at deteriorating walls,
Yes.
not paint, but walls.
Hearing walls at bottom.
Okay. And, on the rear and side of the house.
Yes.
And then trash and debris throughout the property and 30 days till we do that.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're about to show some photographs. Did you personally take these photographs?
Yes, sir.
And do they accurately represent the condition of the property on the day in which you took them?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
This is the first picture, 4/11/2023. As you can see, the walls are leaning.
Is that a wall of what, the house?
Yes, sir. I think
So
it
is
was
the house open?
Yes, sir. I think they was trying to build another house on top of another slab, the house that they tore down.
Well, how far in? So we have a roof on this house?
No, sir.
There's no roof either.
No, sir.
All right, looks like the sun or something. Go ahead and show me the rest of it, see if I can figure out what you.
This is taken by 12/23, one
That's
feet.
a tarp over the top
Yes.
of this?
Yeah, they tried to protect the wood, but it's been there like a year or so. Weather has gotten rid of the tarp and now it's raining on the wood, which is not pressure treated, so it's starting to rot.
Okay, that was one B.
So that's 4/11.
So you get number two down. So what am I looking at? It looks like there is an old porch,
Mhm.
floor to a house
Yes,
and studs.
and you put the studs in, and then they started putting plywood around it, like they were gonna build a new house on top of an old slab.
What, has the house ever had walls?
They
It
told
looks like
us
the
that,
porch is there, it had
It is.
something.
yes, it was a house there, they tore it down all the way to the slab. And
So they're putting new studs up
yes,
and they're deteriorating.
yes,
What does that mean? They're deteriorating? Are they rotting where they're standing? Or-
yes, they rotted and they falling. It's starting to fall apart.
Okay. So under the code. I mean, is that a wall
Yes,
under
sir.
the code?
Yes, sir.
So the studs without anything on them is a wall?
You have walls around others.
You see where I'm getting at? I mean,
Yes.
it looks like somebody tore this house down. However, it got torn down. It's
It
down.
was, yes,
And now they
yeah.
put new studs up and the studs are deteriorating. Is that a wall?
It's the next picture, sir.
The code say that's a wall?
It's half the wall, half the house is built, the other half isn't. So three of the three sides have walls, the back and the two sides have walls, and they're starting to fall.
So what's the remedy to this? What's so all you have to do is replace the studs? Takes down the studs?
Please remove or repair.
Well, what does that mean? You have to tell him specifically what he must do to bring
You
that
have to
property into
replace
compliance.
the rotten wood and straighten the walls back up, make sure they're back where it's supposed to be for, it's building inspector to come in and say, okay,
Does it still have a permit?
so that's why I couldn't start work on it back in August of 2022. And he hasn't been, they haven't been back since.
Does it need a permit to take it down?
Yes,
So the minimum remedy, according to the city, is that the new studs that are up have to be taken down. And that requires it.
yes,
Okay.
and that's the traction debris that was taken by 12/2023. I think that's what the roof of the old house that they tore down, and that's considered trash and debris.
Okay.
And that's
Do
what
they have to
trash.
have a demolition permit for the house? It's not
Yes.
before us, I'm just curious.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's what trash and debris, that's 5/12/2023, 5B.
All right, anything else?
No, sir.
All right, I'm not sure what a wall is under the city code. You haven't told me.
Here's the book,
Well, you haven't told me
Scroll up,
where in the
scroll
code
down
it
here.
defines wall.
scroll up or scroll down here. See the wall right there, Mr. Brown? See the wall right there, Lee?
I see some studs. Does that make it a wall?
I'm looking for something else, David. I understand what you're looking for, how this leans.
Yes,
Okay.
All right,
it's plywood attached to the wall, Mr. Brown. See the wall, the real wall back there on the back? It's plywood attached to the studs.
all right. Based on the evidence and testimony, we're going to find a violation of 30-32A, prohibited conditions of public nuisance due to trash and debris. And it's a violation of section 30-170, rear and side walls deteriorating. He does need a permit to take down these walls. Is
Yes,
that correct?
yes,
And the city is looking for to have the walls removed within 60 days.
yes, sir.
Okay. Will require compliance with both violations. No later than in the business, Monday, July 17th, 2023. In the event of non-compliance, a $25 a day fine per violation will begin to accrue the next day, be Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Okay, Ms. Walsh, let's return if we can to 400 North 4th Street. And we're to show we're returning to case number 2023-80. Again, I'm going to inquire whether Herbert Delaney or Tracy Ledford are present. Seeing hearing no one. This is apparently in the North Historic District,
Yes, sir.
and the violation had to do with paint deterioration. And they were given, what, 90 days
Yes, sir. 90 days.
to bring property compliance, which would be painted. However, that now requires a review of the paint color.
Yes.
Yes.
For the historic district code.
Can that be done within that 90 days?
Yes, it can. They submit it.
Just to get on the stick?
Yes.
And the meeting in July.
There is, but if the paint color is something that is suitable, I can approve that at the staff level and it won't take very long at all.
And just for the joy of asking you, what is a suitable paint color under the city code?
According to the code, it says the same as the existing color or something similar.
Of which?
The same as the existing color or something similar.
Okay. Do we know what the existing color is? Is that up there?
Yes, sir, like, make it green.
Well, bless you, at least you have something. That's not the Benjamin Moore 83
Right.
or
Right.
Charleston, South Carolina color code.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize for having to reopen this. I was telling them
Make
previously.
sure the record's gonna have to blend in and go get that hearing. All right, very good. Following that hearing, we're gonna go to the final case. Which is case number 2023-50, property located at 918 North 13th Street. And property owner of record appears to be Keith Woodard and Judith E. Woodard, husband and wife. Well,
Yes, sir. This is case number 2023-050. The location is 918 North 13th Street. First observed the violations on March 22nd, 23. Set it for notice for hearing on May 3rd. The original 10-day compliance on the green card was signed, but I have not received the notice of hearing green card back yet on the posting.
did you post the property?
Yes, sir, I did. Complex posting was May 6th and site posting was May 1st.
For the record, the green card is signed, maybe. I can only imagine that
It was
it's
his son.
It was his son?
Yes,
How
sir.
old was his son?
13.
Okay, but do you posted the property? before
Yes,
it
sir.
was posted?
I've spoken to him.
And you had your affidavit posting in the record?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you go to any place today and you're asked to sign something with your fingernail, and you ask them, how do you know it was me, really? And they will tell you, because we photograph, we take videotape of every signature, we say you sign it. It really doesn't matter what you put in the line. This one, I don't know how you tell who was there. They didn't put the name down. And probably somebody who's 13, not good service. You couldn't service with lawsuits, somebody who's 13. So that's good that you posted. Have you had any contact with the owners?
Yes, sir, I have.
What's been their reaction to this?
Honestly, he's been great. I spoke to him this morning. He was gonna try to be here. The only thing honestly we have left on this property is mold and mildew. But with our policy, we're just gonna move forward until the homeowner gets it done. He requested for 30 days. He's got a pressure washer and a painter coming, but they won't be there for 2 weeks.
Right. You alleged a violation of 30-169, building fronts and sides, mold and mildews. Did you take the photographs you're going to show us?
Yes, sir, I
And do
did.
they accurately represent the condition of the property on the day that you took them?
Correct.
Please proceed.
This photo was taken March 6, 2023. With mold and mildew on the front and the side of the house. You can see it on from the roadway of North 13th Street. This is the follow-up on May 25th, 2023. The mold and mildew is still there facing the roadway. This is the other side of the house. This was taken. This was the first one that was taken. Aaron, can you scroll up a little bit, please? Thank you. Other way,
Sorry.
you're fine. March 6, 2023, and it's got the mold and mildew around on the left side. You can see it from the roadway. And this was an updated taken May 25th, and you still see the mold and mildew facing the roadway.
All right, so basically it needs a pressure wash, the sides visible from North 13th Street.
Yes, sir.
And the purchase section of 30-169 is including the record. Final call for Keith Woodard or Judith Woodard. You hear the one is, they've been making progress, is city's interested in.
They have, sir. I've actually taken off all the violations except for this one. He's closed them all out.
Based on the evidence and testimony presented, we're going to find a violation of 30-169 of the municipal code. Building fronts and sides of the streets or public areas, mold and mildew on the sides that abut, or the front abutting North 14th Street. We're going to find the violation appropriate and in order requiring compliance within 30 days of today's hearing, at the end of business on Friday, June 16, 2023. A fine of $25 per day will commence in the event of non-compliance beginning on Monday, June 18, 2023. There being no further business with the special magistrate, we will declare today's proceedings concluded.